Chat. Oh, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, so um, I was scrolling down. This video gonna be about astral projection. So I was scrolling through one of the Facebook groups I'm in, one of the occult groups, and somebody made a post, and they was asking for astral projection tips. So of course there was an insane amount of comments, and of course most of them was foolish and not useful for anyone at all. And then the rest of them was just people regurgitating the same astral projection techniques 101 that's in like every astral projection book from fucking 1970. Shit, 1950. So shit like sit like this. Body posture needs to be like this. Your breathing needs to be like this. Relax your muscles like this. Close your eyes. Visualize this. Feel your body getting lighter. Imagine there's a rope in front of you and you're climbing out the rope. Focus on your breath. Like a lot of the same old cliche information that gets recycled over and over and over and over and over and over. My thing is this, like, if you are really adept in astral projection, then you should know how to explain it to someone in a much simplified way, because that is extremely complicated. When a person is learning how to astral project and you're going by the book, okay, so I get why the books was written like that back in the day, because that's how the books was written. And it's just like learning something in class at school, right? That's just how you learn out of the books from back in the day. Very intellectual. Everything was written very technical, right? A formula was given by the book in that way. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But like now, today, for most everybody to still only be still holding on to the same way of doing things as the olden days, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of silly to me, right? Because energy moves, everything else in the world moves, nothing stays still. That's why whenever I be into books and shit like magic books, you see that I be into the shit with the people who make the shit simple. Like 2025, people's attention span is way too short to be still dealing with complicated information that is just way too complex to understand or extremely difficult to actually achieve. Like the way that shit is given, like to do all of these steps and all of these things, right? And then on top of that, they'd be like, oh, you gotta stay awake. You gotta make sure your mind is alert. Don't fall asleep. And that's a whole nother thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Because now you trying to do all this other shit, but in your mind, all you thinking about is don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep, can't go to sleep. I've been there, did that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here to make it simple. So when people are explaining and giving those instructions by the book, those instructions are simply just telling you how to put your body asleep. That's it. The whole key, right, is being able to body asleep, mind awake. So all of those instructions are just to put your body asleep and stay awake with the mind. The thing is this: you already know how to put your body asleep because you do it every night on your own without anyone else having to tell you how to do it or what's the best way for you to do it. You know what works for you. You'll hear people say, oh, well, don't lay down. Don't do what you normally do. You know what I'm saying? You want to be slightly uncomfortable so you don't fall asleep. You can lay down. You can do what you normally do to fall asleep. For me, now I've been doing it for probably at least a decade now. So for me, laying down and falling asleep like I normally would works best, better than any other method anybody ever taught me. Because what better way to put your body to sleep than to do what you normally do to put your body to sleep, right? I mean, the shit ain't gotta be difficult. Astral projection is difficult, but I'm saying, like, it can be made a lot simpler when you really can cut through the cheese and get to the point of what the fuck we're doing. So you can lay down and put your body to sleep as you normally would. Now, the part about remaining awake and keeping and keeping alert and you can't fall asleep, like, it's a point to it. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole kick is to be conscious, because this is something we're doing deliberately. You know what I'm saying? It's to have a conscious experience, but you don't have to fight not to go to sleep. Once I stopped fighting that shit, trying to fight to stay awake, shit became a lot more easier. Because the higher self, your higher self is very extremely clever. Way more clever than the conscious mind. So while you fighting and panicking consciously about trying to stay awake and not go to sleep, you can just hand that problem over to the higher self and let your higher self figure that out. So the thing is, you can go to sleep. You just don't want to let yourself drift in a deep sleep. You don't want to fall into deep slumber because then you just going into a dream, you're in a deep sleep, then you're just gonna wake up and you don't remember shit and it's over. But dozing off, drifting off isn't the problem. Allow yourself to drift off as you normally would. Um, the thing you want to do, the thing I do though, is before I go to drift off, I'm making sure I have my clear intention set in my mind. So get your conscious mind and your higher mind on the same page as to what it is that you're trying to carry out. All right. So as I know I'm about to roll over and doze off, but I'm getting saying to myself, I'm making it clear, you know what I'm saying, to my mind exactly what it is that I'm wanting to happen. Um, and that works wonders more than you know. I'll try to give you an example. All right, so, all right, fuck it. Let me just give you the whole, because I don't want to stay on here that long, but I do want to put this in full context. Um, I'm gonna give you the method that used to be most successful for me, which eventually led me to even being able to come up with the method that was even more effective than the one I'm about to say now, right? But you got to start somewhere. So, in the old house I was staying in a few years ago, like I was really practicing this a lot. I was I was locked in. So what I would do is I would set my alarm clock earlier than I wanted to get up. For me, I probably wasn't getting up till about 9, usually for real. So I was setting my alarm clock for 7. I'm not no early bird like that. You know what I'm saying? So like if I wake up at 7 o'clock, like I'm still tired. You know what I'm saying? Like I can roll over and go back to sleep easy. You know what I'm saying? But the sun's up and shining through the window. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm still drowsy, but I'm woke enough to where like I'm not really worried about falling off in another super deep sleep. You know what I'm saying? You just want to get like to that drowsy state. And that's the thing, like, I don't know, most people just don't say either. Like, they do all this technical shit about how to, you want to be in this drowsy state. You want to get to that in between state. Whenever you are, um, you're groggy enough where you half awake and half asleep. That's ultimately where you want to get, to where you half awake and half asleep. So to get there, I set my alarm clock for earlier than I wanted to get up so that I'm still in that groggy mode. So I'll roll back over, you know what I'm saying? And I know I intentionally got my alarm clock set for this reason. And that's when I said Make it super clear. Set your clear intentions with your higher self, so your conscious mind and your higher self can get on the same page as to what's going on. I don't have this alarm set just to have it set. Like, no, subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? I'm programmed like my higher self knows this alarm clock is set specifically for this reason and this reason only. And it's going off like this every morning for this exact reason. It's a game changer. Um, Anything, when you doing anything like that, if you do it for and only for that specific reason, it's going to be a game changer, right? Um, this is like whenever you're doing magic rituals or whatever, and you lighting a candle, for instance, they'll tell you you're not just lighting the candle just to be lighting a candle. You're lighting this candle for this specific reason. When you done, put the candle out, put the candle back up until you need it again for this specific reason. And then you light that candle again only for this. You're not lighting it to do anything else with it. You're lighting it because ain't nothing magical about the candle. The magic is in the intentions that you set. You know what I'm saying? Like, the magic is in you. So by doing that, you know what I'm saying, you're programming the subconscious. You're breaking through. It's all about breaking through to the subconscious, right? All right. Not to drift too far off. So I set that alarm clock for this specific reason. And you know, when you're doing something over and over and over and over, that's an extremely effective way for subconscious programming. If you want your subconscious to jump on board, if you're trying to get a message through, do the shit over and over for a specific reason. Anyway, that's, yeah. All right, so when I did that and I'm still drowsy, so I'm like, bet, I'm gonna roll over now, go to sleep. I know in my mind that I'm not rolling over to go back to sleep, to go in a deep sleep, to none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know absolutely that I'm rolling over. I'm going to drift off. And then my plans are to astral project. So the cleverness of the higher self that I was speaking of, to keep me or get me from going falling in a deep slumber, would be something like this. I roll over and I drift off. And then I'm dozing off, right? And start dreaming. And then in the dream, as I'm drifting, it might be something like I'm walking down the street that's like right in front of my house. I used to stay next to the train tracks. And remember one time I drifting off doing this practice. And in the dream, I'm walking down the road, and the train track things, whatever you call them, you know what I'm saying, like, they're down, the arms, to say no railroad, they're down, and I'm walking to them, and I get close to them, and then I see the train track arms, they go up. That's to say, come on, cross over. I don't know what it was about that, but something so subtle like that is subtle enough, like, not to startle me out my sleep, but I'm still there enough in my mind because I'm not in a super deep sleep, right? So I'm there enough. I'm a lucid dreamer also. It was enough to get my attention, is what I'm saying. Like, your higher self, it'll have ways, clever ways of getting your attention enough to remind you about what we doing here, right? Just enough to make me think and look and like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. Okay. So now from that dream, you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't startle me awake, but it was enough to put me on alert to bring me back, to bring me back to what it is that I'm doing. So whenever that happened, I say, oh shit, okay, I'm dreaming right now. You know what I'm saying? And then I start to kind of come to a little bit, right? Like, okay, I'm not gonna move my body or nothing else. I'm not gonna start thinking about the water bill and the electric bill. I just instantly move on to the practice of what the fuck I'm doing. So as soon as I realize that I'm asleep, which is where you want to be, because you want to be, as I said, in that in-between state. You want to be mind awake, body asleep, right? So people are absolutely correct when they saying you want to be alert, you want to be aware. You know what I'm saying? I just saying people, or it's just misleading. It's not misleading. It's just not necessary to go through the mental stress of panicking to keep yourself from falling asleep. Takes practice, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it'd be something like that. And then, so from there, once I realized like that, like, okay, I know I'm at the doorstep. Anytime your mind is awake, but your body is asleep, you right there, you're at the doorstep of astral projection. Like, you're literally like right there. There's almost nothing else to do besides chill, really. Um I mean, there's many like body exit techniques that people use to project. But again, if you want to simplify shit, because I'm trying to keep it simple, like I said, the higher self, when the higher self is on board and you are on board with the higher self, meaning becoming subordinate to the higher self in that experience, right? Because now when we talking about crossing over and all of that shit, this is the higher self's world. This is the world of the subconscious. Like, you're consciously, all you need is clear intentions, clear instructions on what it is that you are trying to achieve. The higher self knows you want to astral project. It can make the astral project happen without you having to struggle and fight trying to do all of these body exit fucking exercises. Like, um, the easiest way that I found to project in that state mind awake, body asleep, is to simply convey to my higher self that I'm ready to project. And there's no struggle or nothing that I have to do. It simply is going to happen. As far as techniques that I will use, because I still use techniques every once in a while if I want to project. Most of the time I don't even be aiming to astral project no more, honestly. Like, that's just one phase of, you know what I'm saying? That's usually just like a thing that people do for like the sensationalism of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a trip and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's other it's other it's other aspects of consciousness that you can experience outside of astral projecting whenever you are in that in-between state, I'll just say. But we're talking about astral projecting in this video, so I'll try not to veer off too far from that. A technique that I will use that's simple and ain't got to do no struggling for it whenever I'm in that in-between mind awake, body sleep state is, like, I call it sinking in. If you seen that movie Get Out, whenever that chick put the brother under that hypnosis and shit, and he would be falling off into the darkness and shit like that. It could be something of that effect, what I call sinking in, and that's just really just relaxing. I'm gonna tell you the best thing that you can do, though, consciously, if you got your intentions already set on what the fuck you doing, the number one best thing that you can do in that moment is surrender. Surrender your ego. Surrender your rational ideas. Surrender your intellect. Surrender what you think you know to do. Trust in your higher self. Allow your higher self to take over the experience and just be along for the ride. Become the observer. Let go of control, which is hard to do because it'd be a lot going on, you know what I'm saying, and the sensations and the feelings, because all this is going to feel extremely real as you ever felt anything. So it's going to be hard to let go of control. But that's the absolute number one gem I can give, is that whenever you do cross over or on the verge of crossing over, if you, anytime you get to that in-between state, especially like people, if you experience sleep paralysis, whenever you're experiencing sleep paralysis, whenever you're having that episode, I promise you the absolutely greatest thing you can do is let go and surrender to the moment. Don't fight shit. Don't try to control shit. If you just let go, but have your intentions set and made clear. I can't stress that enough, because you want to have some, in most cases, you would like to have some sort of a sense, give your higher self a sense of what direction that you are wanting to go. Sometimes I don't even do that, right? Sometimes I don't even have a plan of what it is that I'm wanting to experience. Sometimes if I'm in that state of crossing over, not most of the time, sometimes I'm able to just completely let go and not even give any type of request or instructions or ideas of what I want to experience. Sometimes I just completely let go and just become the observer and say, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Show me what you show me, take me where you take, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just along for the ride. And typically, those are the most rewarding experiences, because the experience is being led by your higher self. Even though you cross over, once, like, if you still in your conscious mind and you just consciously making all of the, if the conscious mind is being your guide when you cross over, your guide when you cross over, which oftentimes mine is, like, you still gonna get an experience. You probably still get a hella experience. You should still learn something. Like, you still gonna pull back some good shit. But it's not at all. It's not at all like the experience whenever it's led by your God self. Not at all. Because whenever your conscious mind is dominating the experience, you're going to be worried about shit like, oh, I want to fly. Oh, I want to have sex. Oh, I want to go see my grandma's old house, right? Oh, I want to go over there and see what's behind that door. It's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be on some, you're going to be thinking like a human, you know what I'm saying? And the experience is just not going to bring you it's probably no longer going to bring you like the spiritual revelation that it would, as if you was just to take a back seat and allow your higher self to be in control. Which is hard to do, but you can trust it. Absolutely. You can trust your higher self, or it's not going to steer you wrong. It's going to protect you and all of that. Like, if you able to surrender your ego in that moment, if only for a moment, that's when you're going to experience spirituality. Anyway, so yeah, that's the basics of what I wanted to say. 34 minutes. I think I said about a lot, really. So yeah. And then typically I do that, had an experience, and then if I feel like the experience, if it start feeling like it's getting dragged out, then I'll simply say, thank you. I'm ready to wake up now. And then I'll wake up. You want to try to keep experiences short and brief as possible so that you can recall them. Because if you can't remember, then the shit didn't happen. So yeah. So that's what I'll say about that. Most people, as I was saying earlier, like most people, like if they're really into astral projecting, then they should be able to pass on some gems, like, and help somebody in a more simplified way than just to say go buy the book. If all and I'm not saying, I ain't got to say all that shit on this channel. I'm constantly reading out a book or sharing something out of a book. So, of course, I understand the value of what's in the books. You can use what's in the book as a guide, as like a blueprint to fall back on whenever you don't know what's going on. But I'm saying that in a lot of the books, it be information that was written 50 years ago that just keeps getting recycled and really not revised and not broke down. It's not being put in modern, like in a modern way. So that's that. I am going to get back talking about astral projection and astral traveling a lot more on the channel. I strayed away from it years ago just because whenever I start talking about it, like, it just loses most people, and you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like I'm just talking to a wall. But we're going to get back to it, so I'm going to leave this video at that, and yeah.